March 24th, 2003. 100 Rangers of the 75th Ranger Regiment dropped thousands of feet into the H-1 forward operating base near Haditha Dam. Orders from command were to hold the dam for a short time until conventional forces relieved them. The enemy, however, would dictate a different reality. After being joined by 14 M1 Abrams tanks from the 70th Armored Brigade, the Rangers continued to the dam, and after securing the area, they realized just how badly the enemy wanted the dam. The enemy, the Republican Guard, was 6,000 strong and comprised of the most elite men the Iraqi military had. Saddam wanted this dam badly. The Republican Guard was also provided with 30 T-72 tanks and 14 BMP-1 infantry fighting vehicles. Outgunned and outmanned, the Rangers were determined. Saddam was set on destroying the dam. This would flood a nearby town and make troop movements for the coalition impossible. The Rangers would not let this happen. Over 5 days and sleepless nights, the Rangers fought, never faltering. What could allow men to survive such an onslaught? How did they train for such a task? Rangers are the Army's best, and they're trained as such. Physical challenges are presented at every step of the way. A candidate can be expected to be broken on every physical level, from 10-mile hikes with 150 pounds on the candidate's back to being deprived of food for days. Pain is a constant of Ranger School. It is only those who possess the ultimate in mental toughness who will pass. Once you prove you are tough enough, the real course begins. Ranger School, being separated into 3 distinct phases, will challenge an individual and push them to their limits. The first phase, crawl phase, begins with the candidate undergoing intense physical and mental training. This will include a 37-minute 5-mile run, a 12-mile march with upwards of 70 pounds being carried. It is only the will to push forward that will allow a candidate to go forward. The walk or mountain phase puts candidates through a harrowing mix of no sleep, lack of food, and extreme physical activity. Candidates are taught mountaineering tactics and are instructed in essential skills that will be used in the following days of high-angle, exposed mountain climbing. And finally, the run or Florida phase. Candidates learn here advanced small unit tactics that enable them to function in small, capable combat units. It is obvious that the physical prowess is essential from Ranger School, but if you ask any operator, they will tell you the hardest thing was finding the mental toughness to soldier on through the pain of training. But to truly understand mental toughness, we look to the Battle of Mogadishu. Mogadishu, the capital of Somalia, was the site of one of the first major engagements since the Vietnam War. Somalia, which was and is in constant civil war and upheaval. In this environment, 160 Rangers of Task Force Ranger dropped into a city where hostiles surrounded them. The city, controlled by Mohammed Farah Adid, had been thrown into chaos. Food and supplies became scarce, babies were dying in their mothers' arms from starvation, and it was the mission of the UN task force headed by the United States to provide aid. However, leaders like Adid planted IEDs, stole humanitarian supplies, and killed coalition forces. And this was the problem that the coalition Rangers had come to solve. In a simple smash-and-grab mission, the Rangers flying in on Black Hawk helicopters were to search for Adid and capture or kill. Things did not go the Rangers' way. On deployment, they immediately realized that this would be a far higher risk situation than anticipated. The first problem presented when the Rangers discovered that one of the helicopters had landed in the wrong area. Things were made worse when news came that 2 Black Hawk helicopters had been shot down in the worst part of town. This was the make or break moment. They could either go back to base, restock, and come back for their brothers behind enemy lines, or go forward into hostile territory knowing they would be surrounded. And the Rangers chose to be surrounded. After refusing to be evacuated, they became trapped and surrounded by an unknown number of hostiles. After 18 long hours of constant gunfire, the Rangers never faltered. Why? What could drive men to choose to be placed in an impossible situation? It's simple. Mental toughness. Mental toughness is a hard quality to quantify, but there is no doubt those men possessed it. But there are quantifiable things that you can do to increase your mental toughness. Mental toughness for most people is not something genetic. It's something that can be unlocked in a moment. It's a skill that has been built and honed over years of cultivation, and you don't have to be a SEAL. All the things that I'm about to tell you can be refined down to one simple maxim. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. The phrase itself is an oxymoron. If I'm comfortable, how can I be uncomfortable? And if I'm uncomfortable, how can I be comfortable? This annoyed me too. And through research and implementation, I have found what are called the 5 P's. Planning, picturing, perspective, positivity, and pain. Your brain is a hardworking machine designed to help you achieve your goals. But there are things we do to hurt ourselves unintentionally. Our brains are designed to release chemicals like dopamine that give us a sense of accomplishment every time we accomplish a goal. However, when we set lofty and vague goals, our brain doesn't know what to do with itself. So it releases stress hormones, making it even harder to accomplish the things that we need to do. So instead of setting goals like, I'll run a marathon in December, give your brain something smaller. Like, if I don't reach that mailbox before that guy on the bike does, I'm a failure. Don't say, I want to complete all my back work by Wednesday. Say, I'm going to sit down and do that one math assignment. Your brain is tougher than you think. Treat it right, and it will be your ally against the fury of the enemies of everyday life. Picturing where you could be is a powerful tool. Instead of visions of failure before the big final, visualize looking at the test and telling yourself that you are ready and prepared. You can totally not be. Before your heavy bench set, visualize you throwing the weight up as if it's not even there. Imagine the chest gains. Imagine the girl you're doing it for. Imagine the pride of being the best among your friends. If you want a different reality, make it. Perspective is something not a lot of us think about. We are so stressed, caught up in the moment, so focused on that math test next period that it makes it absolutely impossible to study. So pause, focus, slow your breathing, clear your mind, give 100% focus to the task at hand, and you will achieve it to the best of your ability. When you're drowning in work, when your history class has you so stressed out to the point of breaking, stop, breathe. Clear your mind of any doubt and anxiety, anything other than sheer will of purpose, and crush it. Positivity and picturing are a way of tricking your brain into doing something you don't want to do. When we are overwhelmed, when a tragedy occurs in our lives, we can do nothing but dwell on it. It becomes overwhelming. It becomes that which amplifies the suffering we currently inhabit. When you fail the class and you have to take it over the summer, it's easy to feel defeated. When you got rejected by that girl, when the enemy surrounds us, and when we feel helpless, we must learn to say, good. You've been diagnosed with a serious disease? Good. Now you have more time to focus on your family. You lost your job? Good. You didn't really like that job anyway. Your girlfriend dumped you? Good. You knew it was a dead-end relationship, you just couldn't admit it to yourself. Got beat up? Good. You learned. When things are going horribly, when your life is crumbling, learn to say good. Because if you can say the word good, it means you're still breathing. And if you still have breath, you still have fight. So get up, remember where you are, remember your goals, remember what you're fighting for, take a breather, reload, and re-engage. And finally, pain. Pain is something we spend most of our lives running from. We avoid it at all costs, and that's reasonable, right? No. Getting up early sucks, and nobody wants to get up at 4 a.m. to do anything, let alone run for miles or lift heavy things. But this is the key to becoming a mentally tough, emotionally unshakable, confident, and powerful person. Pain. Get comfortable being cold. Get comfortable getting up at ungodly hours to study. You have goals. Finish high school, go into law, becoming a doctor. These will be uncomfortable to do because whatever your goal, you will find yourself surrounded. You will reach a make or break point, and you can run and hide. You can choose the easy path. You can live the comfortable life. Or you can stand strong despite being surrounded, despite being exhausted. You can either die knowing you didn't reach your full potential, or you could fight. You could fight like the Rangers at Haditha Dam or Mogadishu. Fight like your life depends on it. And never look back.